Let's have a look at the NASCAR on Fox starting lineup for the 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 2004 winner. Jeff Gordon, a three-time winner, have earned the front row. Kurt Busch won the shootout in the duel. Jeff Burton, the winner of his dual race to secure Road 2. Clint Bowyer, Regan Smith, one of the best pushers here. Michael Waltrip trying for 3, and Kevin Harvick, the 07 winner. Kyle Busch, 24 NASCAR wins last year. Matt Kenseth. Brian Keselowski, the Cinderella, the glass slipper fit for him. McMurray, Montoya, teammates. McMurray, the defending champ. Brad Keselowski, Brian's brother, and A.J. Allmendinger. Mark Martin in his 27th 500 with Denny Hamlin. Paul Menard, new to the RCR team, and Martin Truex, 08 winner Ryan Newman with Carl Edwards. Jimmy Johnson, 5-time with David Reutimann. Tony Stewart won his 12th Speed Weeks race yesterday with Greg Biffle. Brian Vickers making his first start with Darlington with Robert Richardson. 2-time 500 winner Bill Elliott with Robbie Gordon. Bobby Labonte in a new ride, and young Trevor Bayne carrying the colors of the Wood Brothers as we look through the rest of the 43-car field. Let's talk to the hot 20-year-old rookie from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Trevor Bayne, DW Fox Sports. You got a copy there, young man?
Yes, sir, I do. How are you guys doing today?
We're really doing well. That was really nice what you did on the cranking up the engine there, the prayer. I really liked that. Good job, buddy. Hey, you're driving the famous 21 car. You've met David Pearson, who's won the Daytona 500 in that car. What's your game plan for today?
The same thing his was, I guess. You know, we're all here to win, but I understand that's my first 500, and I have a lot to learn. But I tell you, man, this fast race car has done me a lot of justice so far these speed weeks. These guys, everybody on this Wood Brothers crew has just provided me an awesome race car that I think has the capabilities of running up front. You know, it's just finding that buddy to work with, which I think we built a lot of those relationships this week, and I've got a lot of good support, man. So we're pumped about it.
All right there. Good job through the week here. You've been going to school. Today is graduation. Hope you get this certificate.
All right, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully we get this Ford Motorcraft up front for you.
The 20th driver to run the 500 for the Wood Brothers. Keep an eye on this man who turned 20 yesterday. He is one to watch. In a world where most sports play their biggest game at the end of the season, NASCAR does it just the opposite.
It's when the best are at their best.
Today, a whole new style of racing at Daytona. We'll go 200 laps, 500 miles as we always do. 55 on pit road. Fuel window 42 to 46 laps and 4 cars to the back.
And that's going to be huge, but the pit window there, because this racetrack has so much grip. Tires are not going to be that important, but that fuel window certainly could be.
A few things to note as we get ready to go green. Brand new surface at Daytona has led to a new style of racing. The bump and push style of drafting seen at Talladega is now possible at Daytona due to this smooth surface. As mentioned, after 300 miles yesterday, drivers were worn out. Imagine driving in a snowstorm where all you can see are the taillights of the car in front of you, and you don't know what's on either side, what's behind you, or what'll happen next. That's what's going to happen here, especially for that driver pushing the car in front. And finally, we'll remember Dale Earnhardt and his legacy with a silent third lap to honor the number 3 that he made famous.
The other thing is a .196 has been the difference in all the races run down here this weekend for the winner.
Set to go green, the Camaro pace car will make the left turn to pit road, and Darrell, it's time to start another season of NASCAR and NASCAR on Fox.
Be nice here, be nice guys, hold on, hold on. Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
With either a teammate or a convenient partner.
Larry, the same thing we're seeing today is what we saw with that 24 car. Really slow on the get-go. Doesn't seem to get up to speed very well.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon in the dual races with Trevor Bayne pushed him most of that race. Hated to see restarts.
I think Jeff Gordon, maybe he's drifting back in there to find Trevor Bayne in the 21 car.
In the qualifying race, Kurt Busch had help from Regan Smith the whole race long. Smith pushed into victory, and he has pushed Busch to lead lap 1. We talked about Trevor Bayne making his first start for the Wood Brothers, only his second Sprint Cup race. Just turned 20 yesterday. Dick Berggren, how's he doing?
I think he's doing pretty well, Mike. He just made a pit stop for fuel, and before the start of the race, I went to him and had him hold his hands straight out. Asked if he was nervous. Not one finger twitched. This kid is solid as a rock for his first Daytona 500.
Here's what he had to say the other night about drafting with Jeff Gordon in his qualifying race.
That was unbelievable to have Jeff Gordon, you know, the guy that I've looked up to my whole life and my racing career. My first number was 24. I don't even know if anybody knows that, but just because of Jeff. So to have him come up right before the race, when I'm sitting here thinking, man, I don't know who my partner's going to be. I don't know what's going to happen. I guess I'll just sink and then pick somebody up and go to the front again. So Jeff Gordon's like, hey, man, I'll work with you. I said, really? You know, I didn't think it was serious at first. And then we ended up getting together there, and he stayed loyal to us. And I stayed right on his butt the whole time, just pushed him, you know. And, you know, that was just unbelievable to be working with Jeff in the first race that I was in here.
When I was listening before I spoke to him on the parade lap, I was listening to he and his team communicate. He prayed. He said a prayer for he and his team before they rolled off. So a really quality young man.
Scanning radios, Dale Earnhardt Jr. worries he may have a tire going soft.
That's the chance you take coming down fueling only. Run over something or have a soft tire.
Our top 15 cars on this restart, they stayed out. They pitted that first caution back on lap 6.
So Brad Keselowski, the new driver of the Blue Deuce for Roger Penske, leads them to the green flag. Bobby Labonte in the 47. Stephen Wallace, a rookie, in the 77. Terry Labonte, the 32. Paul Menard in the 27. Then Tony Stewart, Jamie McMurray, and David Rudiman. Let's crank it up. And worrisome. That's what restarts are here at Daytona.
You know, a lot of the guys that have been coming here for years, they kind of view the preliminary events as just practice. But on Sunday, the Daytona 500, usually think the veterans show up. Bobby Labonte, he's a veteran.
Got some Chevrolets, though, ganging up there on the outside. Paul Menard, remember, this is the 4th Richard Childress racing car for 2011, getting pushed by Tony Stewart in that 14 car.
Last year's winner slipping in the picture as well. Jamie McMurray in the 1 car with his teammate in tow, 42. Juan Montoya.
Joey Logano in the 20. Dale Jr., the 88, slipped to the inside, move up to 5th and 6th. Before they went green, Mark Martin looked aside at Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s tires and said everything looked fine.
Probably when he dropped down off the track coming to get that, when he realized the caution was out, may have picked up a lot of dirt and debris on his tires off the apron. That'll give you a false sense of a flat tire.
Jeff Gordon running down on the inside. Here's Matt.
Mike, he appreciated the help from the 4 of Casey Kane, but he's been looking for his new little buddy, the 21 of Trevor Bayne. But under that caution, Gordon had a lot of questions about all the unknown variables so far.
Does that mean we have to call Gordon the skipper?
Remember what that 20 was like in the in that shootout practice everybody's been talking about. It's just really squirrely.
Yeah, I mean, we're not his pusher or anything, you know. It's always every other car, so trying to figure out if we're a pusher or a puller.
$16 cars out front, 8 pairs of 2. The front car, the puller, the back car, the pusher, and they have to stay in contact to maintain maximum speed.
Yeah, it's really synchronized. I mean, you have to work absolutely in unison with the guy in front of you. If he moves, you got to move with him. And then you got to stick the nose out of your car out every now and then, get some air on it too. So a lot going on behind the wheel of these cars this time.
Caution is out for the 3rd time in the Daytona 500. Kevin Harvick appeared to lose an engine off turn number 2, and his car slowed up. There's Harvick's car going to the garage. Jeff Gordon got into the back of Robbie Gordon. We'll show you that in a bit. First pit stops. Steve.
Mike, Tony Stewart said no handling issues whatsoever. He's going to get fuel only. Matt.
The 24, Jeff Gordon, making his way to his stall so that Alan Gustafson can take a look to make sure that there isn't any damage to that nose. There is some slight cosmetic damage. They've got some bare bond to fix that. 3 seconds of fuel for the 24, Krista.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. made the call for fuel only. He also said he needs to know more about what that car in front of him is doing.
There's the race off pit road. Former IndyCar and Formula One star Juan Pablo Montoya over Jamie McMurray, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. picks up 9 spots coming off pit road. Here is the damage to Jeff Gordon's car. Here's what happened at turn 2.
You know, Larry and Mike, I'm almost thinking, I know there's smoke and it's probably pretty hard to see, but Trevor Bayne is right on him. I think he was afraid to slow down too quickly, afraid that Trevor might turn him around. So I think it was a combination of smoke and then somebody right on his back bumper.
Outside him, right in front of us, man, right in front of us is a blow engine. Get down.
We got in the back of the 7 pretty hard.
Jeff Gordon trying to win his 4th Daytona 500. There's a bit of damage to the bumper cover.
We've seen these things go out through the grass pretty hot and heavy and come right back up on the track and continue on. This nose they got on this car this year, Larry, is a tough son of a gun.
Well, it is, you know, but it's the most sensitive part of that race car. But one thing I did notice, Trevor Bayne in the 21, he did check up behind Jeff Gordon in the 24 when he saw that smoke.
Coming to green with Clint Bowyer leading the Daytona 500. Another Richard Childress car. Regan Smith behind, and on the outside Kurt Busch with Brian Keselowski. That's Brad's older brother outside in that white car, number 92. They came down here with 1 car, 1 engine, and 1 set of tires. They made the race. They picked up a sponsor. Ray Evernham said, I'll pay your tire bill. Penske offered him an engine that they couldn't use because it was too new to fit in their car, but he's in the 500.
Yeah, actually the crowd from home, Save My Fairgrounds, sent a little money down to get their name on Brian's car. So picked up a little bit here and there, but that discount tire is probably paying some pretty good bills for him right now.
Jamie McMurray, proud new dad of son Carter and the defending 500 champion. He's got the lead with Montoya behind him, and they're 3 wide to the stripe again. Who's going to lead this lap? Bowyer.
That 88 car, Larry, he just keeps inching closer to the lead, and we will know without a doubt when he takes it.
Junior Nation will let us know.
Oh yeah.
Kurt Busch and Regan Smith going backwards in the high lane. Here comes Jeff Burton with Brad Keselowski on the bottom, the 31 and the 2.
Just remember, Dale Earnhardt Jr., through virtue of starting this race at the back of the field in 27 laps with 3 cautions, he's worked his way right there into the top 2.
Yeah, this, if you got to start in the back, it's not a bad place to have to do it. Always got the chance to draft your way right to the front, and that's what he's done.
9 different drivers have led this Daytona 500 as Bowyer hauls them around for a second time. McMurray and Montoya, and 2 fast forwards right behind them. David Reagan in the 6 and rookie Trevor Bayne in the 21 of the Wood brothers.
And just remember, David Reagan in that 6 car, that's a backup car that had to start at the rear of the field as well.
riding with Mark Martin.
Looks pretty easy, doesn't it?
We know better.
Think you could drive a car, folks, at home 200 miles an hour?
Closer together than most people park.
Yeah, 200 miles an hour with somebody pushing.
Trouble, turn 3.
Big wreck.
Brian Keselowski, David Rudiman, Michael Waltrip, Matt Kenseth,
Big
and
wreck.
half the field.
I see about 3 of the Hendrick cars there that's involved.
Mark Martin is there. I see him. There's a Biffle. Jimmy Johnson's laying over there. There's a 24 car. Looks pretty bad.
Brian Vickers limping around. And Mark Martin is part of it. Greg Biffle got a piece of it. Joe Nemechek's right front all torn up. The 9 of Marcus Ambrose.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened here, Larry. They're running awfully close together.
Watch the top right of your screen coming
right up
in.
Here.
Michael into his teammate Rudiman.
Got Rudiman loose.
Right in front of Keselowski. Here comes Nemechek. Pow into Michael.
Look at, nope, didn't make it. Didn't make it.
Brian Keselowski, we just talked about, was involved. That white car up against the wall there.
There's Mark Martin down here, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. My. Let's see if we can see anything. Well, there's not a whole lot to see. Michael just got into the back of the. Tony Stewart did the same thing to Michael in the Bud shootout. Got into him pretty hard and turned him around right there and got Michael with it.
And Darrell, everybody was going to the apron, but those cars sliding off 31 degrees of banking, that's where they're going to end up.
It's kind of an old saying down here. What goes down must come up. And you try to go around on the outside if you can.
Jimmy Johnson's 48 just barely got into the back of Matt Kenseth to do enough damage to the right front.
The old Aaron Stream machine, she's done.
Marcus Ambrose is going to the garage for repair. Michael Waltrip's car comes steaming toward the garage.
Brian Vickers in the 83 car gets a lot of damage. Marcus Ambrose in the 9.
Look at that. 3 Hendrick cars, 24, 48, and 5, all slamming into each other.
Back it down, back it down, back it down. Come on. Still coming. We're turning around over here, guys. We're here to the right side.
And now riding with Mark Martin.
You're still 3% in front of you. Get down if you can. Get back up. Get back up. 9 car to spot us. Stage 3 the door.
And Jeff Gordon's view.
22 right in front of us. Right in front of us. Check it up. Check up. Check up. Check up. Check up. Check up. Get.
Jimmy Johnson.
Side 2 wide in front of you, in front of you, in front of you. Correct.
Thank you, Chris. Double Daytona 500 winner Michael Waltrip gets into teammate David Rudiman and ignites a 17-car pileup. 12 cars to the garage. 5 damaged cars still on track. Quapple, Allmendinger, Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin, and Kurt Busch. Now, the first 6 cars did not pit under this caution. So Jamie McMurray, last year's 500 winner, and his teammate at Earnhardt Ganassi Racing, when Paulo Montoya will lead them down for the green. Then David Reagan, Trevor Payne, Martin Truex, Bobby Labonte. Those are the cars that did not pit.
Mike, you're probably the safest in the front, the way it looks. Especially listen to what Jeff Gordon had to say.
That's the 37 Robert Richardson dropping down out of line and lets them all go.
We're actually hearing that he's got to drop to the back of the field because of a pit road speeding penalty, Robert Richardson Jr. in that 37 car.
Well, you know, if you Based on what Jeff Gordon said, the problem you have is this is a race. And some of these guys, when the green flag comes out, they race everybody. And that's what you get paid to do.
And as you say, Darrell, the safest place to be is out front, so let's get there.
Get on up there. It's going to be hotter. Man, we got a gaggle going across here. It's going to be hotter. It was going to be, this track gets slicker. And we've talked about grip down here for the last 10 days, but today I got to believe the track's a little bit less grippy than it's been in the last several days.
Dave Blaney driving for Tommy Baldwin and Al Hankey on, car in the wall, front straightaway. And it is Richardson, Robert Richardson, into the inside wall, coming toward the start-finish line. And that will put us under caution for the 5th time.
Yeah, tied off the corner. He's kind of hooking around.
I just think that's right back to what I was saying about the track. I think it's given up some grip that these guys have had down here when it's been at night, been cool. This place gets slick in the daytime.
Single car crash for Richardson. Matt Kenseth will get the free pass. He'll come around and pick up one of the laps that he is down.
But Mike, you just mentioned it. He's leading it right now. Dave Blaney in that 36 car just had taken the lead. This was a team and a driver that had to wait to the second dual race to see if they were even going to make the Daytona 500. They came down here with no sponsor on that race car. Just got this sponsor done last night.
Here's what happened to the 37, Robert Richardson.
Sure glad they put that safer barrier down along that inside wall there, because we've had a lot of people get into it.
Hard hit. Travis Kvapil is the car behind. And this is the second caution in a row, watching from our Fox Exmo extreme slow motion cam, where we've had one car trying to help another and instead taking them out of the race.
Yeah, that's actually teammates right there. Robert Richardson and the other car that got into the back of him.
And in both cases, I think a lot of it has been the guy in the front had to get up out of the gas a little bit, or something happened with the car in the front. The guy behind him just runs over him.
In other sports, stealing signals from another team or listening to radio communication would result in a fine and an investigation. But here, Darrell, we have drivers not just talking to their own teammates on a second channel, but able to dial up other teams as well. Look at this.
You can see here, these are all frequencies in the radio for different cars. They've been working hard here. They got a number of radios in the car, and it's all because of this new style of racing we're doing here at Daytona. And Mike, this style of racing kind of reminds me of back in the day. Back in '59, they came here the first time. They said, "What's that thing called, the draft? What are they talking about? What are they talking about? A two-car draft?" Dick Berggren.
Trevor Bayne, the youngest driver with the oldest team, the Wood Brothers, is about to pit. He's going to take on fuel. They've got a tire on the wall. Whether that goes on or not, we'll see. Mike Smith, the gas man, only man left from last year's team. Matt.
Kurt Busch promised this time he would hit his marks right on the money. Fuel only for the 22. Krista.
The defending Daytona 500 winner feels like his car is getting just a little bit tight. He said he's not uneasy yet, but they're going to make a track bar adjustment one round up to give his car a better feel. Steve?
Many of the sport's most dramatic moments have happened right here in the Daytona 500, which takes the green flag at the quarter pole. 50 laps down, 150 to go. Terry Labonte, for the first time since 2004, leads the Daytona 500.
The Labonte boys are having a pretty good day. Bobby's up there earlier, you know, fighting for the lead. Now Terry's brought him to the green flag. Dave Blaney's up there getting pushed by the 22 car.
Yeah, Kurt Busch has latched onto the back of that 36 car of Dave Blaney.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good pusher right now. Whoa, a little swapping going on there.
And further back at 17th place, David Reagan and Trevor Bayne. During the last caution, we heard from the 20-year-old rookie about the strategy he wanted to employ in the next green flag run.
I just don't know if you know, who I want pushing me here. I'd rather push somebody so I know I can be careful. I think the 99-43 are going to try to work together, so see what happens with the 6. I'll let you know we'd rather push here.
And Larry, we're looking at a piece of tape, or maybe even a piece of rubber over on the right front corner of the 21 car. You see it right over there. Watch that piece of rubber. It's hung on the hood pin. We're running 190 miles and 195 miles an hour. Watch this thing. It's all of a sudden it's going forward, and he's running 195 miles an hour. But I think that explains why the guy behind is such a good pusher. You lose all the air off the nose of the car behind, and you start pushing that car in front of you. You push that air forward, and the cars go faster.
Yeah, the pressure definitely changes on that nose depending on what configuration you're behind another car.
1 lap to halfway in the Daytona 500. Let's take an inside look at what's happening now in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, brought to you by Sprint and HTC Evo 4G. Clint Boyer has the fastest lap in the race, 200.5 miles per hour.
And you know what's interesting? We talked about you'll work with anybody. I don't think Trevor Bayne probably has run any laps with Robbie Gordon, and here they are leading the race.
Kurt Busch has led the most laps so far, 14. Fuel your inner NASCAR fan with live in-car audio and real-time stats on your NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile and the new HTC Evo 4G, only from Sprint at sprint.com/speed. Robbie Gordon has been leading the 500 with a push from Trevor Bayne, and oh my goodness, here they all come.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to last because here comes Regan Smith in that 78 and his buddy Kurt Busch in that 22.
But did you see what Trevor Bayne did? He got way back off of Robbie Gordon. He didn't want to go in that corner 3 wide, pushing Robbie Gordon. Felt like that might not be safe. That is using got a lot of intelligence in that 21 car.
Juan Pablo Montoya has spun off turn 4 to put us under caution for the 8th time today. He didn't hit anything and continued on to pit road. Caution is out. Dick Berggren.
Well, it's not enough to get on pit road fast, Mike. They've told Trevor Bayne not to use his brakes hard because that locks the shock absorber, which makes it hard to get the front tire off. Steve.
4 tires for Ryan Newman this time, Dick. Let's go to Matt.
Ever since the damage to Kurt Busch's nose, he's lost the handling of the nose of this 22 car. Right side tires only, and they are going to try to top it off of fuel.
Right side tires for Bayne and for Paul Menard. Looks like Menard will get 4, as will A.J. Allmendinger.
Really long stop for Trevor Bayne in that 21 car, even hitting just right side tires.
Robbie Gordon, the first off pit road with Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman. Watch the 42, the target car. Jamie McMurray behind him. Montoya goes around, and what a save at 200 miles an hour. He drives it onto pit road and to the caution flag.
World class right there.
We're threatening the record for lead changes at the Daytona 500. We have had 39 so far. 60 is the mark. 18 leaders within 3 of the record set here. Moments ago, Jamie McMurray trying to win back-to-back Daytona 500s for the first time since the mid-90s when Sterling Marlin did it. Ran into Juan Pablo Montoya trying to get some air, running hot. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Steve Wallace got the free pass on this, the 8th caution flag of the day. We're back under green. Robbie Gordon made a pit stop and held on to the lead. He and Ryan Newman drafting together, trying to hang on to it. But once again, Kurt Busch and Regan Smith, an odd couple pairing because it's a Dodge and a Chevrolet, have vaulted out front.
But they've been this way throughout practice. They did it all day long in the Gatorade Dual qualifying race on Thursday, and he knew he had a great partner there.
Yeah, they have a lot of confidence in each other, and Regan's a good kid. He's a good player.
Now watch at the bottom of your screen. The 88 and the 14 have found each other. Stewart and Earnhardt Jr. were talking on the radio about linking up, hooking up, and trying to get to the front. We'll see if they can as we crank it up. they come to the stripe. Kurt Busch, leader by a narrow margin over Martin Truex. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, because the new surface at Daytona International Speedway, smooth enough, no bumps, no whoops, so that one driver can push another and have the advantage of 2 cars worth of torque and horsepower to make them much faster than any single car could be by itself.
Yeah, there's so many things you don't have to worry about. Don't have to worry too much about handling. The track is fixed that with the new surface. Don't have to worry about tires. Goodyear fixed that with the great tires, and here we are 3 wide for the lead off turn 4.
Bowyer up the middle, Truex on the high side, Busch on the bottom. Trevor Bayne gives a little breathing room there, and Bowyer vaults back to the lead. He and Busch have traded back and forth the honor of leading the most laps, and whoever does gets a bonus point toward the Sprint Cup Series.
And Larry, you talk about ECR engines, and here we got the 33 and the 27. They're out of the Childress stables, just like the 29 and the 31, where they're running fine. They don't seem to be having any issues at all.
Well, and remember, Regan Smith, the 78 car, has that engine package. But Darrell, I'm so impressed with that young Trevor Bayne. You talked to him on the pace laps, 20 years old yesterday in the 21 car. Whenever they get 3 wide, he gives some breathing room to that car in front of him.
Yeah, he backs out of a hole. If he sees something he doesn't like, he's smart enough to know to get out of there. Back in the, I think it was Tiny Lund drove for the Wood Brothers. He won the Daytona 500 on 1 set of tires.
1963, the first of the Wood Brothers' 4 victories at Daytona. A.J. Foyt, Cale Yarborough, and the great David Pearson in '76 also carried a similarly painted number 21 to victory. And Trevor Bayne was pretty giddy last evening when he got to meet David Pearson for the first time.
Heck, I've met Pearson 100 times, and I get kind of giddy every time I meet him, too. Such a great driver.
Darrell, how about this rookie from Knoxville, Tennessee, just turned 20 yesterday. The rookie is having a great ride here in 2nd place.
You know what? And every time I've talked to him, we had him on the show yesterday afternoon. You heard him this morning before the race started. Very confident, very calm, got a great head on his shoulders.
Truex will bring him off the corner. Here is Dick Burton.
Matt Kenseth's trouble on the racetrack.
And it is Montoya crashing along with Greg Biffle. And again, Montoya makes a great save to come down pit road as the caution flag flies for the 11th time today. Can he make it?
Yeah, and guess what his motivation is? He's never won it before.
Green flag. 54 laps to go. And still 27 cars on the lead lap.
Boy, Dale Jr., he just forced Trevor Bayne up off the bottom there and said, I'm coming through, dude. You're going to have to move out my way.
And for a minute, he didn't have a dance partner. And then those 2 Gibbs cars, Kyle Busch in the 18, Joey Logano on the 20, jumped right down behind him.
But the 21, I mean, he has fallen like a rock because of that. He lost his momentum. He's in the middle back there behind Martin Truex right there.
Plenty of time. And Larry, one more pit stop.
Yeah, whether you stop that time or not, still one more stop.
Say this, do you feel it? Do you feel it? The intensity is starting to really ramp up.
36 laps to go. Let's crank it up. Denny Hamlin out in front with Ryan Newman. parts of this race are beginning to look more and more like a middle school dance all the time. During the caution, Carl Edwards asked the 18, Kyle Busch, to draft with him. Busch politely declined because Trevor Bayne had asked him first.
It's like a prom dance.
Oh, will you dance with me? No, I can't. I came with him. Sorry. Well, it takes two to tango. We know that.
Now let's take an inside look and listen at what's happening now in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Brought to you by Sprint and HTC Evo 4G. Carl Edwards and Trevor Bayne.
You got me, Trevor?
Oh, trouble.
Yeah, who's this?
Turn 3.
Hey, bud.
Into the wall goes Keselowski.
They were 3 wide getting in there. I was just about ready that there was going to be trouble in turn 3, and sure enough.
Let's go back to the last caution period where Sprint and HTC Evo 4G listened in on Carl Edwards and Trevor Bayne.
You got me, Trevor?
Yeah, who's this?
Carl.
Hey, bud.
You want me to push you?
Better as a pusher. I'd rather just get lined up. This thing is so fast it leaves everybody that's behind me. But if you want to, we can do it, and then either way, man.
No, that's fine. Push that 6 then. I'll figure something else out.
I like that.
Make sure to log on to sprint.com/speed next week starting on race day just after midnight Eastern time to vote for which driver you'd like to go in car with during the race. Fuel your inner NASCAR fan with live in-car audio and real-time stats available on NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile and the new HTC Evo 4G only from Sprint at sprint.com/speed.
I told you Trevor Bayne was a really nice kid. That was a very polite decline right there.
Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. Everything we've learned making tires for one of racing's most grueling proving grounds inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven, providing today's aerial coverage as you look at this huge crowd at Daytona, wondering what will happen 30 laps from now as we go back to green. None of the first 16 drivers stopped under this caution flag. Newman, Reagan, Bayne, Hamlin, Earnhardt, the front 5, and here comes Junior.
Boy.
And he did that without a push.
Without any help. Man, did he shoot the gap.
Woo. Boy, that's a show of strength. Maybe he is the Pied Piper once again.
Take the lead, though. It's kind of like the NFL. Not for long.
Boy, he backed up a bunch getting off into turn 3 and got back to the rear bumper. Jamie McMurray, look at him though, 3 and 4 wide coming into the tri-oval.
Now there was a big scrum going into 3. Boyer wisely backed out of it, and now they freight train Junior on both sides.
The middle worked of getting up to speed, but not so hot once they get going.
Oh, Kyle Busch.
He hangs on to it.
Oh my gosh. He was a goner, man.
Daryl, it's almost like it's hard to push Kyle Busch in the 18. I don't know if he just keeps moving the steering wheel or what.
I just don't think his car's handling all that great.
Look at the back bumper and remember what he said. All that bear bond, when somebody gets against that bumper, it doesn't slide across it, it sticks and it sends him sideways.
That's exactly what's going on, Mike. There's just there's something wrong with his car when it comes to somebody pushing him, and that could very well be it.
Joey Logano heads to pit road. We look forward to the Subway Fresh Fit 500 next Sunday on Fox. A whole different kind of racing on the 1 mile in the desert. Tony Stewart at 4th place behind Menard.
It's about ready to jump out. SN4, just save a little fuel and cool your heart rate down a little bit, take a drink of water.
Tony Stewart's a tough guy. We know that. And when Tony Stewart says that he is white knuckling it around here and his heart's about to jump out, that just tells you how scary and how brave these guys are to be able to do what they're doing.
Tony Stewart now has 12 wins in speed weeks, counting yesterday's 300 miler. He has won everything but the Daytona 500. Got 27 laps to change that. And here comes everybody's best friend, Regan Smith, once again.
Yeah, poor
hooked
Regan.
up with Kurt Busch.
He was just spun out down here just a few minutes ago, and here he is fighting his way back. That car is bad fast.
You heard the strategy, though, before we went back racing. David Reagan in the 6 car hooked up with teammate Trevor Bayne in the 21.
Kyle Busch trying to give Clint Bowyer an assist.
But look at Kyle's car, even following somebody. It's kind of moving all over the place. Look at his hands in there. I mean, that is anybody else would get it. Look at that. He let go of the steering wheel to catch it.
Kept him from wrecking.
But Mike, I think to follow up, it's, you know, everyone else's rear bumper is pretty solid. I think with all the damage there, his just moves a lot and it gets him squirrely.
And that stuff on the back bumper is like Velcro. When Clint Bowyer got up against him, you see how much of it rubbed off on Bowyer's bumper. Not good.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, he has found a new friend. Dave Blaney in that 36 car sitting up there inside the top 10. In fact, we're riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. now in the 88.
Blaney's about to cost his sponsor a lot of money. You saw that on the taillight panel. If he finishes top 10, the kids eat free. He's up to 7th. And we've got a new leader, David Reagan. Second-generation driver from Unadilla, Georgia, is out in front with Trevor Bayne. Pushing. Here come Busch and Smith again.
It's like David Reagan and Trevor Bayne have decided they can go pretty good here. It's good logistics for the 6 car.
I think any driver can go fast with Trevor Bayne pushing him the way it's panned out down
Well, you heard him tell Carl that.
And the 36 Blaney, the slowest speed car to make it into the 500. And he's got Dale Earnhardt Jr. as his wingman.
Boy, you can just see these guys, even when the car's not driving good, handling good, they're going to stay in there no matter what, because you can't back off now.
Not now.
Less than 25 to go.
3 wide off of turn 2.
Busch has found his calling. It's to be the pusher, this time for Clint Bowyer.
Look at Ryan Newman in that 39 car. He's going to run out of real estate getting pushed by Hamlin in the 11.
Now, that was good communication because 11 could have wrecked him right there, but they worked together very well.
Junior looking for a new partner, or does he just make the switch there with Blaney and move up front?
56.
Truex. And Tony Stewart almost got spun. Catching that group, David Reagan and Trevor Bayne just laid down the fastest lap of this Daytona 500. 44.66 seconds.
Yeah, the sun's gone down a little bit. It's cooled off a little bit. This is absolutely max speed now, and nobody's holding back now.
And here they come again. Bayne in the 21, Reagan in the 6.
Look at the run. That 11 and that 39. Hamlin and Newman are getting on the high side, and that's where Reagan in the 6 and Bayne in the 21 goes to the high
Trevor
side.
Bayne has such a good sense about where the guy in front of him is going to go. What a great pusher he is. 3 wide right here at the line. Can they make it?
4 laps to go.
The 33 of Bowyer, the 18 of Kyle Busch, they're blocked. They can't go anywhere right now because they're 3 wide in front of them.
6 times a driver has scored his first sprint. Oh! Smith gets turned in front of Bowyer and Newman and Hamlin.
Keep coming. Caution down now. Wait them off.
That's because Smith got a little bit of a gap between he and Busch slammed into him.
And the pace car picks up the Roush Fenway Ford of David Reagan and the Wood Brothers Ford of Trevor Bayne.
My gosh.
And then right behind them, the Busch boys. Kyle and Kurt Busch running 3rd and 4th right now.
Then Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Labonte, Robbie Gordon, Mark Martin, and David Gilliland are your top 10.
Can Trevor Bayne win this race, Larry? Mike?
I wouldn't rule him out.
He's been awfully good down here this week. Look at that thing, not a scratch on it.
He was drafting in practice yesterday with Joey Logano, car number 20, and we were joking their combined ages didn't add up to their combined car numbers. It is only his 2nd Sprint Cup Series start, and he might be in it to win it. Matt?
Well, it's Reagan, Trevor Bayne, a pair of Fords, the Busch brothers, Jeff Hammond. What do you expect?
Right now, I think we're going to see David Reagan try to continue to work with Trevor Bayne. Trevor Bayne, I think, is a guy who can push somebody to victory lane. But the important part right now is whether or not Tony Stewart, how he gets partnered up, he could be the guy that could upset this whole apple cart right quick.
As good as Bayne has been, the 20-year-old, the restarts have given him a bit of a problem. Mike, he's so young. He said he shaves now once a week. His favorite show, Rugrats. Can he celebrate the Daytona 500? We'll find out.
We'll find out soon. David Reagan is leading the race. Jack Roush, his car owner, has only won the 500 once, and that was with Matt Kenseth. The Wood brothers, for Trevor Bayne, have won it 4 times. Tiny London 63, Cale Yarborough, A.J. Foyt, and David Pearson in that great last lap crashing, sliding finish with Richard Petty. Trevor Bayne.
You got me, Trevor.
The switchback, yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest key here is going to be getting hooked up as, you know, whenever you can. I mean, because, I mean, they're going to have a run. You know, you only got to get back around. Just as quick as y'all can hook up, the better you're going to be.
Now, we've been talking over there. I think we got her figured out. You know, if nothing else is really cool, and we'll get as many spots as we can if something bad happens. But either way here, man, this is awesome. Thank you, guys.
Green flag.
Perfect. Good hesitation. Now if they can get hooked up and push.
And Tony timed it a little better, but can Bobby Labonte get up there to help Tony Stewart, or is he a man alone?
He's in no man's land. I just don't know if he can hang out there.
But look at the 2 Busch brothers, Kurt Busch in the 22 and Kyle Busch in the 18, working the high side.
I'm hearing they're going, oh, we got a car around. Got a car around right
Bobby
there.
Gordon saves it.
But the 6 is being black flagged. Passing before the start-finish line.
And a car on the wall. Newman again. Ryan Newman hits the wall.
Junior.
Truex and Junior.
Oh, no, and here's Truex.
Caution is out.
Dadgum.
Caution is out there, yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Martin Truex tied up in that one with Ryan Newman. And the caution is out with 2 to go.
Mike,
and here is...
Yeah, let's look at this restart because this is crucial.
Watch the 6 of David Reagan. He is the leader right there on the outside. He must maintain lane position to the start-finish line for this to be a legal start. When he changes lanes, he has violated NASCAR procedure, and he'll get a black flag.
They timed it perfectly. They just went too soon.
Yes.
They just needed to wait a few more seconds.
And Trevor Bayne becomes the leader of the Daytona 500. Possibly could become the youngest driver ever to win it, and only the 2nd driver to ever win in his 2nd Sprint Cup Series start, something Jamie McMurray did at Charlotte.
Well, a lot of these guys up here never won the Daytona 500. That 14's got his best friend right now is that 5 car.
Dick Berggren.
Trevor Bayne is being told to save fuel. They are on the edge with fuel. I've talked to Mike Smith, the gas man, who has been with the Wood brothers for 21 years. He said he got all the fuel in the car, but it may not be enough to get Trevor Bayne to the checkered flag.
You know, when we were talking earlier, the last time they pitted, could they make it the rest of the way? And we said, you know, yeah, they can. And there was a caution. You said, oh, they're plenty safe now. But we're going into 5 laps here now, 6 laps.
This will be our 2nd attempt to go green, then white, then checkered.
Got to make it around and take the white flag. Once the white flag waves, if anything happens, it's a race.
Tell you what, that's a lot of experience up there around Trevor Bayne right now.
Well, there's 2 guys right there on that outside line. I know Mark Martin. I don't know how many more Daytona 500 opportunities he's got left. But Tony Stewart's never won the 500. Mark's never won the 500. Of course, we know Trevor Bayne, he could win his first 500 in his first 500 attempt.
Cars up. Ready.
Tony Stewart's won the pole for the Indy 500. He's won the IRL championship, twice the Sprint Cup championship. He's won everything at Daytona.
47 you. Still with you. Still with you. Bottom of.
And coming through the middle, Kurt Busch. Now down to the inside.
Bobby Labonte in that 47 gave Trevor Bayne a heck of a push. Now all they can do is try to hug the bottom of the racetrack and protect.
I like what I'll tell you, that 22 though is coming in with a head of steam, and Juan Pablo right on him. Looks like Tony and Mark might have a, I don't know if they got enough time to get back up there or not. I don't think they do.
Dale Jr. checked and released at the infield care center. They'll face the white flag when they come around to decide the 53rd Daytona 500. Rookie Trevor Bayne in his second Sprint Cup start will lead them to the white flag with Bobby Labonte. Here comes Kurt Busch and Juan Montoya. Carl Edwards in fifth.
And we know Kurt Busch and Montoya is going to make a move. DW, when will they make it?
I don't think they're going to make it till turn 4. I mean, we keep hearing about I'm a setting duck when I'm leading this thing. So I guess that makes the 21 a setting duck right now. But we'll see here. That 22 knows how to win from that position. That's where he won the Bud Shootout from.
Edwards and Gilliland down to the inside, trying to.
Where did that 34 come from?
Trying to spoil the party.
Oh my gosh!
Spoiled the party for Kurt Busch and Montoya, and here they come through turn 4.
Gilliland, former pole sitter of the 500. Edwards has room underneath. Now he pushes Trevor Bayne.
It's over.
Cinderella.
Trevor Bayne is going to win the Daytona 500.
Unbelievable.
Happy birthday, Trevor Bayne, 20 years old.
Are you kidding me? What? That was awesome. That was awesome, Trevor. You are the man, buddy. You are the man. Everybody coming inside, congratulating you here. Awesome job.
Saw Leonard Wood down on pit road where he stood in 76 when Pearson won it. There's Leonard, who with Glenn and Delano, they're the Wood brothers. Oh my goodness. First win in 10 years for what is now a part-time team out of Stewart, Virginia and Concord, North Carolina. The Wood brothers return to victory lane at Daytona with 20-year-old Trevor Bayne.
That is a life-changing experience right there, buddy, even at 20 years old.
And what a great representative for our sport. 20-year-old kid, well-spoken. Donnie Wingo. I love Donnie Wingo. He's one of those old school
right
guys.
Here, bud. This is all you right here. This is all you. Are you kidding me? This is all you. Do yourself. Do your thing right here. I mean, if you want to go out in the grass, you can do that too.
Hey, Mike, he's saying, I think this is how you do it.
And he stops for the flag at start finish. Nope. Remember, he got tied up in a crash on Thursday. They had to do a lot of work to keep this car in the 500 and not go to a backup. The red, the white, the gold numbers look just like the Mercury that Pearson drove into victory lane after finishing the race in the grass in 1976 after a collision with Richard Petty in turn 4.
Look at this celebration. This is unbelievable. This is fairy tale stuff. This is like once upon a time.
The glass slipper fit.
It did, man. It did. Watch the spoiler. Yeah, right. Can you believe it?
It is the 5th Daytona 500 win and the 98th career win for the Wood brothers as Trevor Bayne becomes the second youngest race winner in Sprint Cup Series history. Now they'll point him to victory lane. Oh, by the way, Carl Edwards finished second, David Gilliland third, Bobby Labonte fourth, and Kurt Busch rounded out the top 5. Trevor Bayne becomes the 35th different driver to win the Daytona 500.
I don't even know where to go.
Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bayne at age 20 in his second race ever at the Cup level, and he'll find his way to victory lane as we welcome you live on Fox to the Sprint post-race show from the Daytona 500. His hero Jeff Gordon, and on a record-setting day at the Daytona 500, Trevor the hero. Let's go down live to victory lane.
Into a race car has dreamt of this moment. But what happens when you're a kid yourself, just 20 years old yesterday? Travis, I'm going to say some words to you. You're a Daytona 500 winner. Has it sunk in?
No, I keep thinking I'm dreaming. I really do. I mean, man, we said a prayer before, and, you know, we pray a lot and we expect a lot of things, but this just shows how powerful God is. And, man, I'm so thankful for the job that these guys did on this race car because it's unbelievable. I mean, this thing is our first 500. Are you kidding me? To win our first one, our second ever Cup race, I mean, this is just incredible. I mean, I can't thank the guys that worked with me all day enough. I mean, you know, there were 10, 15 different drivers that pushed us. Carl helped us there to get across the line. I don't know what happened with David there at that one point, but wow, this is unbelievable. I mean, these guys, Ford Motorcraft, the Wood Brothers. How cool is it to see the Wood Brothers back there in victory lane? We got Leonard over here. He is the man. And, you know, it's unbelievable. And, you know, thanks to Sprint and everybody for the series. Thanks to the fans that are out here. I mean, I've never been to a racetrack with this many people here, and to win on this kind of platform is just incredible.
Trevor, we heard you say, I don't even know where to go. When you pulled in, we all had to tell you, no, wait, stay in the car. And then we had to tell you to put it in gear so you didn't roll right out.
You know what? It's crazy to get my first Cup win before a nationwide win, but I didn't know how to get to victory lane. But we'll find our way back, hopefully, because this is, man, I'm telling you what, this is incredible.
And I believe the King is here as well to congratulate you, as is the Wood Brothers. An absolutely emotional win. Most 20-year-olds are trying to figure out which college class to go to. Trevor Bayne just added his name to the most elite list in motorsports history.
But to see Glenn and Leonard Wood in victory lane, where they last stood in 1976, Trevor Bayne brings them across to become the 7th driver to score his first Sprint Cup win in the biggest race of the season, the Daytona 500. What a day. All the bump drafting and all the teaming and two-timing and tangoing. And it all comes down to a fellow who didn't have any bad habits to unlearn.
I want to show you my bio sheet on Trevor Bayne. It's blank, but not after today. I think Jeff Gordon recognized something in his kid on Thursday, and he worked with him. And when Jeff Gordon says, you're good enough to run with me, you're also good enough to win the Daytona 500. The Wood Brothers, who doesn't love the Wood Brothers, Larry? And, and they're in victory circle.
You won't hear anybody deny, not even Carl Edwards that finished second, the Wood Brothers or Trevor Bayne winning this race. This just goes to show you there's so many young kids out there that grow up through racing. They just dream of going to Daytona. And now Trevor Bayne, it'll be with him the rest of his life. He's a Daytona 500 winner.
A wonderful day for he and the Wood Brothers. A great finish for David Gilliland. Rookie Stephen Wallace finishes on the lead lap. Wow. And David Pearson, who Trevor Bayne met for the first time in our studio last evening on Speed, Darrell. David going into the Hall of Fame. That was the Wood Brothers' last Daytona 500 win. You put all that together. What a day.
Yeah, you look at that car and it's flawless. It doesn't have a scratch on it.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.